Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first video of our four-part series on how to answer vectors into two questions for grade 11 physics. So let's start. So the first thing we're going to do, right? So what you need to know is that when you have a force acting at an angle like this, for example, we have a 200 Newton force acting at the 20 degrees right angle, and then we have the 100 Newton force acting at the 40 degrees angle. That force you can separate it into what you can separate it into the vertical and horizontal component, right? So as you can see there, you can form a right angle triangle, right? You can form a right angle triangle, and after forming a right angle triangle, the opposite side, right? The opposite side will be what? The opposite side will be your what? Will be your vertical component, and then your adjacent side will be what? Your adjacent side will be your adjacent side will be your horizontal component, right? Similarly, you can also do that with the what? You can also do that with the 200 Newton force. We can draw a right angle triangle there, and then the opposite side will be what? Will be our vertical component, right? Will be our vertical component, and then the adjacent side will be our what? The adjacent side will be your horizontal component, right? Okay, so let's start. Let's say if they ask you calculate the horizontal component of the 100 Newton force, and the let's start by calculating the horizontal component of the 100 Newton force and the vertical component of the 100 Newton force. So for the 100 Newton force, right, we're going to start by calculating the horizontal component, right? The horizontal component of the 100 Newton force. How will you get that? You will do what? You say you take the force at which it's acting at, the force, and then you say what? Cos the degree. What is the degree there in that first, in the right triangle, in the triangle on the right there, on the 100 Newton force, it's 40. Then after you're done, what do? You just put this on a calculator. What is 100 cos 40? On my calculator here, I'm getting what? 76,60 newtons when we round off to two decimal places, right? Okay, now let's calculate the vertical component of the 100 Newton force, right? Let's calculate the vertical component, right? How would we get the vertical component there? We just say 100, right? 100 what? 100 sine 100 sine what? 100 sine 40, right? 100 sine 40. Then what? Then obviously, what are you going to have? What you're going to have is, you're going to say, right? You're going to just put that on a calculator, and then 100 sine 40 on the calculator is 100 sine 40 on the calculator is 64,28, right? Newtons, 64,28. And then similarly, we can do this for the what? We can do this for the 200 Newton force as well, right? We can do this for the 200 Newton force. How would we do that? So we'd say, so the horizontal component for the what? For the 200 Newton force, what you just say 200 cos what? Cos the angle there inside the triangles, what? 20, right? Then what? What is 100 cos 20? 100 cos 20, I'm getting 93,96 there on my calculator, newtons. And the vertical component for the vertical component, we're just gonna say, what are we doing? What are we going to do? The vertical component here, we're just gonna say what? We're just gonna say 200 sine 200 sine what? 200 sine 20. Then after that, what do? After that, you just say 200 sine 20. So you say Sorry about that. 200 sine 20 on a calculator, then yeah, you're going to get 68,40 what 68,40 what newtons, right? Then we're done. We've calculated the horizontal and the vertical component for the 200 newton force and for the what and for the 100 newton force, right? Yeah, well, now we're about to calculate the horizontal and vertical component on the second diagram, right? Okay, right. In the next video, we'll look at how we can calculate the horizontal, how we can use the vertical and horizontal components to get the resultant. So yeah, for now we're just gonna focus on the horizontal and vertical components. So we're going to start. Let's do for the 300 newton force. Right, for the 300 newton force, the horizontal component, you come for the horizontal. How would you calculate the horizontal there? You just say 300 what cos, which angle is it acting at? It's acting at an angle of 60 there, right? Remember, if you want you can draw a right angle triangle there, right? And remember that your opposite side is your what? So fy, and then fx is your what? It's your adjacent side there, right? But all you really need to remember is that when you're calculating the horizontal component, you use cos, and then when you're calculating the vertical component, you use sine. So yeah, then you just put this on a calculator. I'm just gonna say 300 cos 60, right? 300 cos 60 is just gonna give us what? A force of 150 newtons, right? So the vertical component of the 300 newton force is going to be what? The vertical component, you just say what? You just take just say 300, right? Sine 60. Then obviously 300 sine 60. What is the answer? On my calculator, I'm getting 259,81 after rounding off to 2 decimal places, right? Then you continue. That's how you get the vertical and horizontal component. Let's just do the last one, right? Let's just do the last one for the, sorry for erasing there. I should have put my answers to the side there, but it's fine. I'm sure you guys will figure it out, or you just have to rewatch how we did it. So for the 100 newton force, right? For the 100 newton force, we're going to try and find the first. We're going to find the horizontal component, right? How would you find the horizontal component? You just say 100. Remember, for horizontal, remember it's cos, right? Cos what? Which angle is acting on that angle? Is that force acting at? It's acting at a 30-degree angle, right? So 100 cos 30. Then you put that on your calculator. 100 cos 30, right? 100 cos 30. Then when you put that on a calculator, you get what? You get 86,60 newtons, right? And then for the vertical component of the same vertical component, what do you do? So remember, for the vertical component, for the vertical right, for the vertical component, what are you going to do? For the vertical component, you're just gonna say 100 sine 30. Forgive me for my bad handwriting. 100 sine 30, what is it? It's just going to be 100 sine 30, and then we're going to have what? We're going to have 50 there, 50 newtons, right? And then we're done. Basically that's it, right? Here's the last diagram, but let me go up before. Maybe I moved too quickly. So the vertical component, you just, for the 100 newton force, is just say 100 sine 30, then you get the vertical component. And then for the horizontal component of the 100 newton force, you just say 100 cos 30, right? And then for the 300, remember, you just say 300 cos 60 for the horizontal, and you say 300 cos what? 300 sine 60 for the vertical, right? So try this one, the last diagram on your own. Try this diagram on your own, the last diagram, and Remember, this is a right angle triangle. Try to find the vertical and horizontal component of the 200 Newton force there. Test yourself and then put the answer in the comment section. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please watch the other videos which are going to be coming up in our 4-part series for vectors in 2D for grade 11. Thank you, and God bless you.